Hello, and welcome to the Enterprise Section 4 Grant Tutorial Series. My name is Brian Westcott, and I'm a grant specialist here at Enterprise Community Partners. Today's topic will address the grant eligibility requirements that your organization will need to meet in order to receive Section 4 funding from Enterprise. So if you are considering applying for a grant, this short presentation should be helpful. Also, this presentation and materials referenced here are available to download through the Enterprise Resource Center, the location where you chose to watch this video. More information will be provided about that at the end. So now down to business. One important thing to mention is that this tutorial addresses our Section 4 grants program only and not other federal programs for which Enterprise awards funds. First, a little background. Every year, Enterprise receives Section 4 capacity building grant funds from HUD, and we in turn pass through those funds annually to smaller nonprofit organizations through a competitive nationwide selection process. Open funding rounds are announced on our website grants page along with all posted materials and links to apply. We accept applications only during these open periods. We encourage you to visit our grants page at www.enterprisecommunity.org/grants, and please feel free to join our mailing list so that you can receive our funding notifications via email. We use a two-step application process to award funding, first being the letter of interest or LOI round, and the second is the request for proposals or RFP round. An application proposal you'd submit during the LOI round must address the needs of families and individuals with low income, meaning 80% AMI or average median income or lower. As these are capacity building grants, you'll need to propose activities that will build your organization's capacity to carry out community development and affordable housing activities that benefit the groups mentioned above. Today we'll cover three areas: who can apply to receive Section 4 grant funds and what types of organizations are allowed to receive this money, eligibility requirements for the LOI application round, and eligibility requirements for the RFP application round, which are a little more intensive. It should be noted that this round is by invitation only based on a successful LOI proposal. So if your organization applies and is chosen to move forward, you'll be formally notified by us, and then you'll need to fulfill the requirements that we'll cover in a few minutes under the RFP application round. So, who can apply? Section 4 funds are awarded only to these eligible organizations: Community Development Corporations, or CDCs, Certified Community Housing Development Organizations, known as CHODOs, and nonprofit organizations serving Native American populations with a mission that includes affordable housing. And of these groups, a large majority of the organizations that apply to us for Section 4 funding are CDCs. And you'll notice that I've indicated with a red asterisk here and in a couple other places in the presentation that an information sheet is available to accompany this presentation. The federal government defines a CDC as a nonprofit organization having these 8 characteristics. The bullets you see are not strict criteria to meet, but characteristics. I'm not going to read all of these, but as I said earlier, you can download this slide presentation or the associated PDF information sheet, which lays out the organization definitions and characteristics that you see here. So those are very precisely defined characteristics of the CDC, but it still may be a little confusing, and we understand that. In some cases, your organization may be a CDC but not qualify under those previous definitions. However, we can determine that your organization can qualify as an eligible CDC if you meet one of the following. If your organization is an entity organized pursuant to the Small Business Investment Act, including those which are profit-making, or you are a Small Business Administration approved Section 501 state development company, or a Section 502 company, or an SBA certified Section 503 company. Or finally, and this you might fall into this next category, you demonstrate to the satisfaction of HUD through the provision of information regarding the organization's charter and bylaws that your organization is sufficiently similar in purpose, function, and scope to those activities qualifying under the formal definition, those 8 characteristics. And for the last bullet, you must be a state or locally chartered organization, and the rest of the information you see there deals with the makeup of your board. So the second qualifying organization type is a CHODO. A CHODO is a private nonprofit community-based organization with these characteristics. First, staff capacity to develop affordable housing for the community they serve. Through a certification process, CHODOs must receive formal designation, which is granted by participating jurisdiction in relation to the home program requirements, not by enterprise. In other words, we don't determine or designate this status. However, active CHODO certification is mandatory in order for enterprise to award funding. And additional information about CHODOs and obtaining CHODO status can be found on the HUD Exchange website under the topic CHODO. The third eligible organization type is organizations serving Native American populations with a defined mission that includes affordable housing. This is a very tightly defined pool as set forth by the federal government. If you serve Native American populations and would like to apply for Section 4 funding, you'll need to be one of the following: a 501c3 nonprofit tribal organization, or a tribally designated housing entity, a tribal housing authority, or a federally recognized tribe. You can find additional information about HUD tribal housing at this website, or you can Google HUD tribal housing, and I think it'll be either the first or second result that should pop up. So if you are an eligible organization and you choose to apply for a Section 4 grant with us, there are 2 additional enterprise requirements to meet during the LOI round. Your organization must have demonstrated staff capacity to carry out your proposed program or project. You should have either full-time, part-time, and/or contract employees, and your staff must have relevant experience to the proposed project or program, and these staff members must be responsible for the daily organizational duties of the project and beyond. It's important to note that your organization may not rely solely on volunteers, donated staff, board members, or consultants to meet this requirement, unless you use a fiscal agent or fiscal sponsor, which brings us to the question: what are fiscal agents and fiscal sponsors? If you don't have the necessary demonstrated staff capacity, you can partner with an organization to serve as your fiscal agent or sponsor, but you must have an established relationship with the partnering organization prior to receiving a grant award. If you choose to have a fiscal sponsor, that sponsor must be responsible for the grant award on your behalf. This means that they would assume control of the grant, manage the funds, and fulfill all reporting requirements. Also, keep in mind that funds flow through the fiscal sponsor to your organization. And of course, the other option is using a fiscal agent. If you choose this route, the agent would serve as a contractor with your organization. You will receive the grant funds directly because you are the actual grantee in this arrangement. The agent provides practical assistance such as administrative and financial management, advice, and support. And again, your organization is the grantee and is ultimately responsible for control of the award, oversight of the funding, and fulfilling all the reporting requirements during the duration of the grant. There are a few more requirements at the RFP application stage that we'll review here. But again, please note that in order to submit a full proposal, your organization must have received an invitation to apply from Enterprise during the LOI phase. So if you're invited to submit a full proposal based on a successful LOI application, you'll be required to provide the following things with your full proposal application. A DUNS number, which is issued by Dun & Bradstreet, confirmation of an active SAM account in the System of Award Management, and that can be found at sam.gov, easy to remember, and completion of the questionnaire for subrecipients of federal funding, also known as a risk assessment. Now, this is an enterprise form, and it's going to outline what additional supporting documentation you'll need to submit related to your organization's policies and procedures. We need to do this because federal requirements placed on us dictate that we review and evaluate the risk associated with potential grantees prior to making awards. And finally, if awarded a grant, your organization must resolve any delinquent federal debt prior to receiving a grant agreement. And status can be found in your SAM record. Now, this situation doesn't happen often, but it can be a lengthy process to resolve if you happen to have a delinquent federal debt, so we wanted to mention it here. So as we wrap up this tutorial, I hope it provided a quick but informative overview of the eligibility requirements for our Section 4 Grants program. Through the ERC located within our website, you can download these 12 tutorial slides as a PDF file and also access other helpful information sheets under the Associated Resources area on the right-hand side of the ERC screen. And there are a few really good definitions documents there, so please check it out. Please stay tuned for other Section 4 tutorials posted on our grants webpage, and this one is the beginning of an ongoing series to help folks maneuver through the world of Section 4 grants. Always fun. And of course, if you have any questions not covered here or in the associated information sheets, or you just need more clarification on something, please don't hesitate to email our team at grants@enterprisecommunity.org. So thanks so much, and take care.